This is Movies, a podcast about the act of cinema. And with me today, he just got back from the actual Costa Rican theater. It is Hans.
Are we cute that we're matching for the first time ever?
What, because we're both like old men wearing
Yeah.
white t-shirts here? Yeah,
White
that's so
t-shirts. Yeah.
that's so unusual.
Yeah. It's the comfortable. I'm at home. A little bit sweaty, a little bit stinky shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me too. Look, I don't know if you can tell, I have like a nice glaze on my face here from having to kill the AC for countless amount of hours because of this show.
Yeah. We're gonna be talking about favorite movie of the year.
The best movie of the year.
The
One of the
best.
all-time great superhero Superman films. We're talking about, and we're back in the movies New York studios here. I'm so happy I'm not in an office talking to Ralph the movie maker through some little $80 piece of shit. How humiliating that situation was. We got the real deal. We got the mic flag back. We got actual lighting, a backdrop. It's nice. But we are going to be talking about Superman tonight, 2025. And this is the first of a trilogy of shows on this movie. And I do think, luckily, overbooking us on this film maybe is a good thing because there's a lot to dig into with it. We're going to be talking about Superman again with Simmy and Jimmy and Eggy this Sunday. And you can listen to it and watch it on patreon.com/LowRes. So you should join today if you want to see a debate occur on this film. And then on Monday night, we're going to be joined by George Dahl to talk about this film and another Superman reboot that came out 20 years ago now, almost 20 years ago, Superman
Yeah.
Returns. The Brandon Routh, Kevin Spacey starring, very boring movie to my recollection.
So was this one, but
I don't know
yeah.
if I would call it boring. I have a lot of words I could use to describe this movie. I don't know if I'd call it boring, but we'll get into it. What was the last movie that drew you to the theater, Hans?
28 years later.
Oh,
Well, yeah,
okay.
right behind you. Yeah, a couple of
Wow.
weeks ago.
I
Mm-hmm.
saw F1 in IMAX right before this, and damn, I would have rather just seen that again. I really would have rather seen so many other films again. What was the other terrible movie? Oh, yeah. I saw The Accountant too, A Working Man. I really have to
Still?
play. I really have to play tennis in my head between what was the worst movie seen in theaters between this and A Working Man.
That's the Statham one?
That is a Statham one. The problem with The Working Man is it was so cheap. The acting was horrible. The writing was even worse. The effects were bad. And I guess, it sounds a lot like Superman here. It went on a little too long.
Mhm. I think the reason why I was bored with Superman was because there was so much talking that I did not give one fuck about. Like I could not care about any of their interrelationships they had with each other because they all seemed very cold with each other. Like even his relationship with Lewis, um she's a
Lois.
bitch.
You thought she
Lois,
was a
whatever.
bitch?
He's a fucking bitch. And I mean, like the whole we have a marriage story, like 10-minute fucking scene about both of them getting emotional with each other because oh, they were gonna kill people, and then she's like, yeah, but you walked in and didn't tell the president, and Superman's like, I'm emotional, and she's like, well, you shouldn't be emotional, and Superman's like, rah! And I'm just like, what the fuck am I watching?
Let
Is
me
this the Adam Driver hitting the wall with Scarlet? What the fuck? Why is Superman such an emotional baby?
Here's something that has been lopped out so many times, which is we don't need to see the origin story again. We do
Yeah.
not need to see how Batman's parents were gunned down in an alley. We don't need to see Krypton exploding. We don't need to see Uncle Ben getting shot. And I
Mhm.
think this movie is a terrific example of why you do need that. You desperately need it, in fact, because this Superman that we're given is not the same Superman that we saw in the 78 movie, in Man of Steel, in any of these films. The idea that you have this character who unifies throughout all these different films and it's the same character, and it is the same character, but that he is made up of all the same traits that you would recognize is not true. That is not so. And I'm not saying that that would be more interesting if we had opened to Krypton blowing up for the third or fourth time. But with this particular version of Superman, who is very bratty, who's very whiny, who is, it's being spoken about so frequently with the detractors that he's a whiny, over emotional boy, but it's true. That is
Yes.
the case.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
absolutely accurate. And at no point does it really come off when he's Clark Kent, and for the most part when he's Superman, does it ever come off as charming to see
No.
people speaking of this movie with the words hope and joy. It's like, how desperate are how depressing, first of all, are your lives that this is what this movie is yielding, and that you really need that when you go to the theater. I understand with this character, it evokes those desires or that emotion to want to be uplifted, right? Because that was the
No,
78
no.
Christopher Reeve Superman.
But
But
but didn't you get that he rescued a squirrel? Isn't that the real Superman that he took time to rescue us? Fuck you. By the way, fuck you. If this is what's bringing you into what this, oh my God, this is the best Superman ever because he actually cared and he rescued a dog. And then, oh my God, did you see that he rescued a squirrel? Fuck you. Because that doesn't fit the rest of the movie. You're trying to show me a Superman that's like the classic Superman that cares about rescuing cats and cares about all these little things. Cool. We get a minute of that. And then we get 2 hours of a bratty, whiny, powerless, ballless fucking Enoch Superman for most of the
eunuch,
movie.
yes,
Eunuch, whatever.
eunuch
So
man,
it's just, yeah. So it's just like, okay, so I'm supposed to pretend that this is the classic Superman that cares about the little guy and the little thing because oh, when the monster's coming, he stops right before the building. Oh, only the window gets broken. Isn't that Superman really cares about people because he's just like the classic Superman? And then we get a movie where he acts nothing like the classic Superman. So then you have literally those 3 moments where he rescues a dog. I think he rescues a girl and then a squirrel. And that's all the Supermaning that we get from Superman, because the rest of the movie, he's just going to be an emotional kid, an emotional child that just reacts in an emotional way to everything. And the villain of the movie is a clone of Superman because Lex Luthor is another whiny. I can't stand this guy. I'm so sick of his fucking whiny face, his fucking pout at the end of the movie when he gets caught. Holy shit, dude. So yeah, I don't understand. Maybe I'm just like bitter and like old and like I can't relate to like the
well,
wonder
you
that
are
you get
both of
from a
those
movie
things,
like
but
this.
that does not invalidate anything you're saying right now. Absolutely not. You're spot on. And frankly, yes, Superman and Lex Luthor are cut from the same cloth in terms of their personality. I was very open to David Cornsweet being a good Superman
Mhm.
because he's got the
Yeah.
look, right? He looks kind of like Henry Cavill. He looks like the younger classic Superboy, Superman
Yeah.
style of that character. And I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't have shown up opening night at a 10:20 p.m. screening if I wasn't actually open-minded to this movie.
Mhm.
The trailers painted a version of the film that I wound up realizing was completely accurate. And I didn't think that was going to be the case. Genuinely, I thought I'll probably be surprised by this because my expectations are so low. And I very soon understood, no, that's not going to be the case here. As soon as we got the opening moment is Superman and the Hammer of Baravia. And by the way, these fake country names, specifically Jonapur, which the actors can't even fucking pronounce, it
It's
jumps
Israel.
between.
Can we
It's
just
Israel
say it's just
Palestine.
Israel?
Yes.
Yeah, can we just it's the most blatant, the most surface level political commentary that you've ever seen. Where it's just like, oh, isn't this guy supposed to be the Jew? evil because look at his hair and look at how stinky he looks, right? He's bad. And they got fucking the guy from Pusher, which is just like,
A good for him for landing big year
I
for
mean,
pusher actors. Frank was in F1, and now
yeah.
this guy Milo is in Superman as Netanyahu.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good for him,
Yes.
but it's such a fucking surface level just political commentary that I was like, oh my god. Okay, so oh Superman, oh he gonna kill, don't you? I think
You
my
did
headphone.
something. You killed your microphone. So
My
you
cat.
know, I
What if
wonder how. I wonder how Superman's creators would react to this
uh,
movie. I'm.
I just yeah, I don't know. I think like I think it was in the Fountainhead episode, right? When I talked about I don't understand what DC is doing by hiring the person that turn
By
or maybe
hiring
he's
Ayn Rand to helm
but
Wonder Woman.
yeah. Because right from the start, and again, I was coming in with an open mind. I was like, fine, let's see what he does. I like the Guardian movie, so I was like, maybe you know what? Maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe this won't be as bad as the trailer is painting this movie to be. And then it starts, and the first scene is just what we see in the trailer, right? Where Superman is hurt by the hammer of Baravia, or whatever the fuck. Who ends up just being a clone of his, right?
Mm.
Um, but then we're introduced to the Fortress of Solitude and the little cute robots because you need to have the the cute moments with the cute characters that are his friends but are not because they're robots, so they don't feel anything. But at the same time, you kind of feel for them because they're nice, they're sweet, they take care of him, right? And then we're introduced to the Mexican villain. By the way, I hated the whole particle suit shit that they tried to pull with the, this is a particle thing that you can just take over your body and then you just create whatever you want with your body, right? And what does she create? Oh, just a couple of blades and that's it. And we see it in one scene and never again. So it's just like there's so many opportunities of things that you could do something cool with this. And the cool thing you did was, well, this Mexican girl is throwing fucking tortillas with her hands. That's cool. Oh, all right. Okay, cool. I guess fine. And I guess that's one of the reasons why like it just felt like there was no weight to anything. And it goes back to the marvelization of superhero movies where there's no repercussions for anything. There's no stakes. Nothing is at risk. No one is at risk of even getting hurt. Like, I understand that a lot of people were critical about Man of Steel and how destructive that Superman was. Okay, now there's literally no destruction. Now there's literally nothing. No one suffers anything. There's no casualties. There's no one that gets hurt. None of our heroes ever gets hurt. Green Lantern with the worst haircut ever and the worst performance by Nathan Fillion that I've ever seen. By the way, that was fucking horrible. That was like Saturday Night level of like acting from him, and that his snark and like his quippiness was so fucking uncomfortable.
Mm.
Then you have Mexican hot girl, right? Who has no personality at all. She's just the girl that shouts like an eagle when she's attacking.
Which
That's
is
her
also
personality.
awkward to watch. Is she's screeching
Yeah.
as she attacks people, and then she kills Netanyahu.
Yeah, but that's her whole personality, right? He wears a mask and then she shouts and she's kind of bratty. Just like Nathan Fillion, who's kind of bratty, and then you have
Mr. Terrific,
Mr.
Mr.
Terrific, who's
Terrific.
also kind of bratty and kind of smart mouth and kind of
Every
quippy.
single time that actor opened his mouth as Mr. Terrific, I kept getting flashes of Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
Mm, okay.
Did you
Yeah,
get that
where
at
it's
all?
like no,
Kurt
but now that you
Lazarus
say it,
playing whatever the soldier character was in Tropic Thunder. That's what the delivery was every single time. It was so
yeah.
one note. It was all of it is really one note. There's not a single multi-dimensional character except
Hmm.
who? Jimmy Olsen?
Jimmy, the one character that I kind of wanted to see more of for whatever reason. Like, I was like, okay, I like his story with the creepy fucking gazelle lady with the bird lady, right?
Yeah. Martin Kessler had a great tweet and observation that maybe James Gunn should have done a Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen movie instead of Superman. And it really does start to support the point that you might, what kind of projects you're successful at executing might be dependent on your personality and
Mhm.
what your taste is. If you're so far out of your comfort zone that it winds up infringing upon whatever it is that you are delving into to give to the masses, then it's probably not for you. If you can't divorce these two things and treat this as isolated, because the James Gunn sensibilities I don't think serve Superman well. I think it maybe
No.
serves DC characters. You could make that argument. I was certainly positive on the Suicide Squad, even though you hated that movie, and
Mhm.
I think Anthony Sisko hated that movie. But I don't think James Gunn has the right stuff for a character who has such broad appeal as Superman. And especially since it is a very wholesome character, his idea of wholesome is very narrow and
Yeah.
flat compared to maybe what it should be. And I want to avoid comparing this movie to the Zack Snyder films as
Mhm.
much as possible for this show. There's going to be plenty of
Yeah.
opportunity to do that in future shows. And I think this can be discussed on its own,
Yeah.
separate of that. Where this movie goes wrong for me is the performance here from David Cornsweet is maybe the worst performance in the whole movie. And I know he's not a bad actor. I know he's got the right look, but the writing is atrocious. And his character never goes through an evolution. The brattiness we're talking about would not be a problem if it was an intentional creative decision to be like, he's going to start here and then he's going to become the resilient, stoic, strong man that we know Superman to be, but he never becomes that. And
Well, the Smallville thing, right? Where it's like, well, we start with him being a teenager, so of course he's gonna have these outbursts, emotional outbursts, but we start with him as a 35-year-old man that's still emotional like a teenager. So it's just like this is just annoying. You're wearing booty shorts and you're being emotional about this girl. Like, shut up. I was so annoyed,
and
dude.
Tom Welling's Superman on Smallville is never as annoying as this version of Superman. He's never as immature as this incarnation, or thoughtless, I'll say. And again, all of these character traits and character flaws would be fine if it were to be developed into something meaningful. But really, what we're given is, well, he was right all along. And that's not satisfying as a viewer. If you see his emotional outburst occur in the first 15 minutes and his lack of awareness of how a journalistic interview is conducted, even though he works for the Daily Planet, and he doesn't expect what his girlfriend of 3 months would be asking him. He doesn't have a proper read on that. By the way, least believable romance of any of these
Yeah.
adaptations of Superman ever.
She doesn't even ask anything that's that rough either, Like that's why I was so annoyed with the whole interaction because it's just like everyone's overreacting about a nothing. There's nothing that she's asking that's like, oh my. I mean, the one thing was, oh, so did you go to that country without letting the president know? And he was like, I did. And it's just like, I just like it. No conflict felt real in this movie. The Lex Luthor character felt like a caricature of what the character is supposed to be, played by a teenager. Again, everyone's a teenager in this movie. There's no adults. Everyone's overly emotional. The Lex Luthor character annoyed me so much because, well, number one is Nicholas Holt and he sucks dick. I'm
Of
sorry.
course, we hate
I'm
Nicholas Holt. The Movies
I'm
podcast disavows Nicholas Holt.
I'm so done with his fucking whiny face. Like even when he's being confident, like you can tell that there's nothing behind that confidence. So you're just waiting for the moment where he's gonna fuck up and break, and you know it's gonna happen. So it's not a believable villain when you're fighting against the most powerful man in the universe, right? And the one thing you have is you're kind of snarky, but not really. You're a little like he has that moment where he with the dog, right? That scene with the dog, which is a horrendous scene, by the way, where he shows up and like asks him about like where's my dog, and then he says I don't know, and then Superman just leaves.
Which, by the way,
Which
Michael
is
Ian Black was the other guy, and that's I didn't
oh,
realize that when they released the clip.
uh,
Of course, he's the guy who's cast as
mhm.
the news reporter. But anyway,
Well,
I'll
well, that's a,
disagree with
that
you. Hold
okay,
on
yeah.
Nicholas Holt, because I actually did not mind Nicholas Holt nearly as much as I thought I was going to, and it really came across in one scene where I was like, okay, I can accept this version of Lex Luthor when he's having an argument among some I guess like government parties and maybe
Yeah.
somebody from the Creature Commandos, because you got to acknowledge the Creature Commandos as part one of the DC Universe's Gods and Monsters Chapter One James Gunn Masterverse.
Well, Flag is there, right? Corner
Right?
Flag
Yeah,
from
Frank Grillo as
yeah.
Randall Flagg, or not Randall Flagg. That's the Stand. Who's it? Who's Flag?
Just Corner Flag. That's the guy that's played by
Joel
uh
Kinnaman.
yep, in Guard Suicide Squad.
Yes. So
I don't know the
his
character
father or
is.
something. I don't know what his
I
first the character's first name is, but Flag. Okay. And which like and this is another issue too that was reported early on. Turns out all the leaks, all the spoilers about the movie were 100% true. Not a single lie in the bunch. It was all real. The pocket universe that holds the Lex Luthor's girlfriends and
oh yeah.
people who criticize him online, the monkeys who are very social media brained and spamming hatred
Posting
for
on
Superman,
uh,
hashtag super shit. It's the writing sucked. God damn, the writing sucked. The humor sucked. I don't know if I even smirked at any point in this movie. And again, we're not James Gunn haters. In fact, you can probably look at least my letterbox and see that I've been more generous on his films than not. The only movie that I think I gave a bad review to that I've seen of his was Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I didn't watch the third one. So
hmm.
there was nothing there. The knives were ready to go. Absolutely, you better believe it. But they were not picked up and positioned and ready to gut this thing when we decided to watch the movie.
No, I was waiting to be pleasantly surprised, and I just got exactly what I thought I was gonna get, and I'm kind of mad at the fact that I got what I thought I would get. Because there's really, especially after watching the what 78 one, it's not that difficult to make a Superman movie. You just have to get the character right and everyone around him right. And like you said, I don't think James Gunn is the right person to do a character like this. Like if you give him Plastic Man, like you've mentioned a couple of episodes ago, I think it would be perfect for a character like Plastic Man because he's like a weirdo, right? Like a not a main character weirdo. You can do a lot with that. A character that's supposed to give hope and be the face of DC, pretty much. Uh, it just nothing about this Superman makes me want to watch another Superman movie or uh makes me want to watch him leading anything
No,
like a
this to me
Justice League or anything like that,
it feels like not even a Marvel movie, but a Marvel sequel. It felt
Yeah.
like
Thor 2.
we're setting up things to come in the future. We got a lot of smack bang action scenes that are completely CGI and not even good looking CGI. Somebody had asked me over on Instagram if it looked as AI as the trailers. I mean,
Mhm.
AI would have been an upgrade if they had used it. There's some truly treacherous, cheap looking CG in the film, at least with the Flash. As bad as that CG was, it felt like they were going for something. There was a consistency to it. With this movie, you've got a little bit of like felt like rushed face mapping when it came
Yeah.
to the Superman clone.
Every flying scene looked like a
The flying
bobblehead
scenes,
Superman.
the flying scenes. So I actually do, I listen. I go back and forth. Like I don't hate that he was trying something different with how the flying looked, but I didn't like it. I just didn't
Yeah.
like it. It felt as goofy as the trailers portrayed it to be.
You know what it felt like? whenever those people post on social media wearing those Instagram 360 cameras that make their head look gigantic and their body tiny,
Yes.
every time Superman was flying, I was like, why is his head so big? This is not threatening. Like, this is not a, a guy that I want him doing anything other than this is like a fucking flying Funko Pop,
Hmm.
big head, little body. It was, yeah, not good. Not a good look. Um, Let me see.
The parental stuff. We got to talk about the parental stuff as well.
Oh my
Where
God. The rednecks, they're rednecks and they're hicks until we actually kind of need them. And then all of a sudden, oh, never mind. All the dismissing that we have with the Kents, how they're fat and rednecks and ignorant and everything, as we're presented in the first hour of the movie. And then all of a sudden, by the end of the movie, we're like, oh, he's just looking at images of Pop Kent and Mom Kent, and he's feeling so good, smiling in the three.
why are we retreading? He's like retreating to his comfort zone in this movie so frequently of doing the forced sentimental, let's do a needle drop to what's supposed to be a sentimental moment. You get that in Guardians with Peter Quill and his dying mom in the opening, except it kind of works in that movie. It's been years
Mhm.
since I've watched it, but I remember the callbacks or whatever that felt earned. Here, you're introduced to the Kents about midway through the film. I guess you get an inclination that he cares about his original upbringing, which is Bradley Cooper phoning in a cameo on the WB lot in front of a green screen, speaking some language that
Speaking in
vaguely,
tongues.
yeah, it sounds almost,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that's supposed to be. But then we find out that Jor-El wanted him to seed the nation, the planet, and they started doing hashtag super secret harem and
Oh
stuff.
my
And it's just
God.
like all
Dude.
of the weird. Here's the thing, and I'm not a prude. I'm not somebody like that who's going to be critical of people injecting sexual things into whatever it is they're making, right? But it feels like James Gunn's like weirdo, creepy sexualness from the early aughts snuck in here all over the place. Like the fingerprints are all over and things like that. The Jimmy Olsen stuff, which I don't mind for Jimmy Olsen. I kind of like that character. And I like
Yeah.
the actor who played Jimmy Olsen. I
Mhm.
think he looks exactly the part. And he was one of the hallmarks of the film. And I liked Rachel Brosnahan as, or yeah, is it Brosnahan or Brosnahan?
You're asking me.
Good point. I liked her as Lois Lane. I thought she felt accurate to Lois Lane, even more so than some past versions of that
Yeah.
character. So I liked
Well,
those
they
two. They felt developed, but they were the only ones who felt developed.
yeah, they got a pretty girl to begin with, which is, not what you get from the 70s Superman, right?
Well, back in the
But
day, if you could put the
eh,
chain smoking aside, and I think she was
but
schizophrenic.
didn't she go crazy? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
all the great ones did
but
back then.
but at the same time, the romance feels so
Nothing.
unromantic.
Yes. It's like two people who
uh,
don't know each other at all, who haven't been dating 3 months, who are
I
probably
mean,
on their second date.
in the first scene where they have that well, not the first scene, but the first time they interact with each other, when they have that interview that they get, upset at each other, and then she's like, well, I knew that this was not gonna work. This is the first interaction that we see of them, and we're already kind of like, oh, they don't even like each other. Like, why am I caring? Why would I care?
There's no
And then that
chemistry.
scene,
Those
that
two
scene
actors had
drags,
none.
dude. That scene drags for so long, where he's trying to justify, I just wanted to save people, and then she's like, yeah, but and she's like, well, people are dying. Oh, but what about what? That shit went on for so long, and nothing was accomplished other than, oh, they don't even like each other. There's no chemistry here. I thought we were gonna move forward with that, and I thought maybe the movie was gonna move into like there's an issue with their relationship, but no, they had that moment, and then later in the movie at night. When Superman's sad, he just shows up to her apartment and she's like, I'm sorry, I love you too. And he's like, I love you too. I love you. Fucking love you. I love you. And then that's it. That's the conflict. It's just, dude, it's so nothing about this movie felt like it mattered. Like none of the
No,
decisions felt like it mattered. Nothing felt like
there's no
like nothing had
consequences. I mean, it's
there was
every
no
single
weight to
complaint
anything.
we've ever said about a Marvel movie
Mhm.
is now applied to this film. And listen, DC had so many years of having an opportunity to get it right. With Warner
Yeah.
Brothers and the different regime changes, there were plenty of avenues that they could have gone down to make it work. And I don't know what the hell they're thinking if they believe that people are going to be excited in the same way they were excited about Marvel in 2008 for a shared universe of movies, especially if this is going to be the one that kicks it off. It premiered on Rotten Tomatoes with something like a 91%, being the third highest scored DC movie of all time behind The Dark Knight and Wonder Woman. And
Mhm.
it's sank day after day. And now I guess we're treading into the 70s. And I think the truth is eventually going to come out that this movie is just a piece of shit, that there's
Yeah.
nothing redeemable about this film. If you love video games, which is like dumb, bad graphics beating each other up, you might be entertained. I wasn't. I wasn't entertained at
No.
all. And for as much of the problems are to put on the writing of the characters, I also think that there's a story issue here that we do these different loops of okay, Superman's got to fight a new CG bad guy every
Mhm.
what 20 minutes or so, which maybe he's calling back to the Fleischer cartoons where that would be like the gimmick, right? Or just I've seen a lot of people saying, yeah, it's kind of like the animated series.
Mm.
No, it's not. It's actually, no, it's not. The animated series, I was so bored by as a child because they didn't have flashy, cool villains like Batman had flashy, cool
Yeah.
villains. You didn't have
You had
Mr.
Black Lex
Freeze.
Luthor, right?
Was he black? I felt like maybe
I
he's
mean,
mixed
big
race, you
lipped,
know?
kind of giant lips.
He was like, it was a
That's why he
Cuban
thought
Lex
of it.
Luthor.
Yeah. I got a Puerto Rican Lex Luthor. I've never been a Superman fan. That one was one that I just never checked out.
Yeah.
I was into the Iron Man cartoon, the Fantastic Four cartoon, and the Batman cartoon at the time. This one just kind of felt very I don't know. I felt the same way about Superman
Well, let me
forever, where
let me
it's just
just
like a
say real quick with the animated series that was a shared universe with Batman the animated series.
Mhm.
That show didn't appeal to me as a kid. I later, as in maybe last year, when I was going through my millennial nostalgia, gotta get a negative childhood to put myself to bed every night. I started watching that as like a bedtime show that I would throw on the TV. And the writing of that show is so much more sophisticated than anything you would get here. There are
Mhm.
cartoony moments because it is a cartoon. You're going to have Mr. Mixius Pitalik and stuff. But
Yeah.
the writing on the animated series of Superman from the 90s is so much better thought out and well crafted than this movie. And that show wasn't goofy. This movie's goofy as hell.
It's also goofy in a non enjoyable way. I love
Yeah.
Goofy. I love Goofy. It it doesn't seem to be brave enough to push all the way. So then it's like it's dipping its toes on Goofy and like on silly, but then you put that against like the seriousness of the thing that doesn't really feel that serious, which is the rest of the story.
If there was something to support it, then it would work easier. And I have to look at, for example, Batman and Robin. Now, Batman
Mm,
and Robin is not a good movie. It's
yeah.
imperfect all over. It's very, very goofy, but it knows what its personality is. It knows its character traits, and it still feels like a movie. You have a beginning, middle, and end. There's an arc to some of those characters. And maybe Batman's kind of irrelevant in that film. Nothing really like
Yeah.
it's just George Clooney showing up, and Mister Freeze is the one who has the character arc. But it still is watchable, and you can appreciate aspects of it as just like swing and a miss. With this
Yeah.
movie, the only thing I can come away with is like, the notion that if you, have enough luck and you work hard enough, you can make a really fucked up, horrible imprint on a legacy character someday.
Yeah. Uh, this movie just feels like a lot of decisions that don't work at all. Like a lot of really weird story decisions, character decisions that that just don't work. The whole justice, what is this, Justice
The
Squad
Justice Gang or something. Yeah.
gang, right? Why? Why do we need those three personality-less characters that are not even antagonists to
Because
Superman?
James Gunn is deathly afraid of being purely sincere,
Mm,
trying to have weight to a moment. So anytime that there is something that could potentially be of gravity, joke time. It's time to
yeah.
implement a joke. Let's keep it light. And he also loves to stress the CG characters that he knows are going to appeal to like a base audience. You know how many awes came out of my audience every time Crypto appeared on screen? I I look I thought cool. All right,
Dude,
we got a movie with Crypto. I hate that fucking fake dog.
but this is also not for children, because I was sitting next to an 11-year-old boy. I went with a friend that has a kid, and he was sitting next to me. He was so bored throughout the movie. He did not give one fuck about the movie, to the point where I asked him at the end of the movie, and he was like, "It's fine." And he never gives me an "it's fine." Like, he usually has a lot to say throughout the movie. I would look at him, and he was just like looking at the popcorn, or
Oh
just
no,
kind of
looking
like,
at the
or
popcorn.
yes, or he was just kind of like, okay, like, who cares? And I feel like like, if you make a movie for I would understand if, like, all of this lacking of depth issues that we have with characters, with the writing, with ever, if you're making a movie for children where you're entertaining children, I fucking get it. It's Superman, it's a superhero that's very, very non serious, not dark, right? You have the Bizarro character, you got the Brainiac character, who maybe has some stories that it might be a little dark, but the Superman character, I think it's perfect for children, because you can, it's like goodness, right? It's like a character that's just good. So you would expect that for children it would work perfectly. This kid was so bored and so non, like, he did not give one fuck about what's happening on screen. And I think it's because James Gunn didn't know which Superman he wanted. So at the
Hmm.
beginning of the movie, we get an emotional, very he cares about the people character, to the point where he's gonna have a fight with his girlfriend about it, right? And then we move on from that to, we don't care about the relationship. We're forgetting about the relationship, because now we're with Lex Luthor, and Lex is being a little, conniving, and a little sneaky, but nothing really feels like it has any weight to it. So then you have scenes like, what is it, the Matter Man, or multiple man, or whatever, that guy that's like purple and that can
The
turn into,
wasn't it
what's
Metamorpho?
the character's, I don't remember what the character's name is, but that whole thing with, like, the glass, whatever, like, that felt very cartoony. That felt like they aped it from, what's the Joss Whedon movie, the horror movie where they're inside of
Oh,
uh
Cabin in the Woods.
yeah, it felt very Cabin in the Woods, right? Where everyone's like on the little, or like 13 Ghosts. So I can see that from James Gunn, that he likes those old horror movies. But I felt like that whole thing was just kind of a waste of time. The introduction of the green baby. Remember how we talked about the the baby toys,
Oh,
and then how that became like a big thing for about 5 minutes, and then the baby disappears, and then we still get whatever the guy's name is, man, uh as
Metamorpho.
part of the
It's Metamorpho.
okay, as part of the group. But then the baby doesn't show up anymore, because who cares about the baby, right? Just like from the beginning, you should not give a fuck about this baby. But then it's a perfect example of, like, very surface level things that he uses to try to move the story forward. But the problem with this and something that I noticed in this movie was that you can use those things to move the story along and to like build your characters a little bit more. That metamorpho character had nothing, and that gave him something, right? So
Right.
okay, so there's a little bit more to the character there, but then immediately, as soon as you get the thing, he forgets about it, and he's just tossed aside, and he just doesn't matter. So then nothing is earned, and nothing feels like it has any weight, and nothing feels like, well, if he doesn't do this, then bad things will happen. And instead, it just kind of feels like, well, I guess I'll do this.
Mm.
Superman just feels kind of like, yeah, sure, I'll save your kid if you get rid of the kryptonite thing. And then he does, and he's just like, okay, cool. Well, now I'm all powerful again, and there's nothing that can stop me as soon as you don't have the kryptonite anymore. So then the whole half hour that we spent in those glass uh spaces, it's just like, then what was the fucking point of that? What was the fucking point of the whole pocket of universe that he created, that felt like it was going to be like this big thing, right? And then it ended up just resolving itself very quickly, very whatever-y. So it's just like eh, the point that I was making with the Fountainhead episode was that I don't understand why DC would take this direction when everyone is sick of this type of movie coming from Marvel side. But now you're going to get this type of movie where there's no stakes, where nothing matters, where decisions don't matter, where a character is never at risk of anything other than, oh, well, he was hurt and he's still alive. He's fine. He'll be fine tomorrow. Why would you want that on the other side now? Like I can't see where this movie can go where I would give a fuck about anything that happens here. I didn't even stick around for like the post-credit scene
I
because I was
stayed
like, who
for one.
cares?
I stayed for
Yeah, the
one, and
dog
I
one.
didn't. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
we're
It
good.
was just like, what is this? And then and that even pissed me off because I was like, hold on. So we were just introduced to the Millie Alcock character, the Supergirl character, right? She took the dog away. And that was like a haha, she's drunk, right? She's a drunk. She goes to planets and drinks. Isn't she crazy? The party Supergirl. Oh, that's wild. And then the post-credit scene is just him with a dog again. So there's just like, what's the fucking
Well, he
point
had to
of
milk it
any?
one more time. The sentimentality of, "Aw, isn't this fake dog cute?"
And you know what the worst part about that? It worked for a lot of people. I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of reactions when it's like where crypto was great, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, that's like they're dangling the toy on top of your head, and you're falling for it because there's nothing about that dog other than it's a
That
dog.
dog is Sean Gunn in a costume on a lot, doing
Yeah,
things like this
yeah.
and barking at actors.
Because like, even like, he doesn't even have a good relationship with the fucking dog. The dog doesn't even listen to him. That's not even his fucking dog. So even even when like the dog is rescuing him, the dog is like, it's just like hurting him, right? And like dragging him or whatever. But the dog doesn't listen. The dog does whatever the fuck he wants. So you don't have that warmth of like, oh, look at the relationship he has with that dog. No, even he says like, well, that's kind of a shitty dog that won't listen to me, right? Throughout the movie. So how does anyone feel any type of warmth towards the character other than, well, it's a fucking dog?
If you want me to be
You
on
know?
Superman's side and excuse his brattiness, have Lex kill the dog. Have Lex stab the dog with a kryptonite knife or something. Do something like
Well,
really bad so you define
it's
these characters through response to this horrible action.
well, there was a scene that was cut, right? You hear
Yes.
about that? Where
Ultraman
someone
kicks the
punched.
dog and
Yep.
punches the dog, and it was too much for the test audience.
Yeah.
And the dog still lived. So what does it matter? Who cares?
The
Ultraman's a
poor dog.
fucking clone. I hate clones. I hate the clone bad guy third act. I hated it
Yeah.
in Logan. I hate it even more here, especially when they've done this. This happened in, what was it, Superman 3. You have a Superman clone. Why are they Bizarro phobic? Why can't Bizarro finally have a place on screen?
why can't Lex Luthor do something cool? Why do we need him to be like, well, you know what? I've studied Superman, so uh yellow 13. Oh, X50. Oh, X25. Oh, I got that all fucking figured out. Hey, B15, that's the move. Oh, but really?
By the
That's
way,
so that
one of the worst elements, I won't call it the worst element. One of the worst elements is the sacrificial goat. So they try and fool you into thinking there are stakes. Is this shoehorned fake Spider-Man 2 moment where what's his name? Molly comes to the rescue when Superman crashes into the cement and he's like, "No, you've had our back. Now it's time we have your back." And he's just like a falafel vendor who they kill off
oh
midway into
yeah.
the movie. So you know
Yeah.
Lex is a bad guy because he killed Molly or whatever the fuck that dude was.
Well, and the best thing is that they don't even commit to that because before he gets killed, he says, "Oh, I just gave Superman a falafel once." And that's literally their entire relationship. They interacted once. So then when he gets killed, we're supposed to be like, oh my God, he's so evil. He killed that random Indian guy that Superman interacted with once. Who gives a shit? Why would I give a fuck? Like, why would I care? That again, the stakes are so superficial. Everything is so superficial that at no point I was like, oh man, he really has to go through something to like get this. No, he's just gonna Superman himself out of it, and then he did. And then okay, well, Molly now he's in what was the thing that they did at the end of the movie where he was in the newspaper and he saved Superman, right? Because
Yeah, we all believe
it's just
that.
like
Come on.
fucking just it's so again, it's so surface level. It's so like there's no depth to it. And I think that one of the things that I said on that Fountainhead episode was like, let's just fucking let this genre die then. They just make garbage and garbage for no one. And this is what it felt like to me. I think you have to be really superhero brained and to the point where you're desperate for anything superhero for you to enjoy something like this or to want more of this because at no point of the movie I felt like I needed anything more than what I was getting other than to make the movie work for me, I guess. But the whole thing, I was just like, how the fuck are they gonna milk this to create a universe out of this thing? Because none of the other characters are interesting enough where you want their own movie, right? That at
No.
least you get that from the Avengers, where you have Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man. The quality of those movies, we can talk about that, but at least they get like their own thing and like they have their own personality that differs from each other. Here, you get three characters that are different than Superman who are good, right? None of them have a distinct personality other than nerdy black guy, smart mouth, horrible haircut guy, and smart mouth Latina girl.
Well, this is
Which
what I keep coming back to is I think James Gunn has a very thin idea of what is a good person. And it is all through mostly superficial flexes
Mhm.
or nice things that can be said or having nice opinions. But really, there's nothing in the fundamental character that you believe that feels like that warmth or goodness that these Superman fans are looking for in one of these movies.
Well, you get the visual of the Hall of Justice, right? But you don't get anything that comes with the Hall of Justice.
Sure.
You don't get any superheroes that feel like superheroes. You get bitter, snippy superheroes that don't give a fuck. Even the what's the black guy's character's name?
Mr.
Mr.
Terrific.
Terrific. Even him, who's the only one of those threes that actually those three that actually has something to do, I guess, that's more involved in the story of what happens. Even that character just felt kind of like, well, he's a black nerd. Cool. That's the depth of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's really nothing more than, well, I'm trying to figure this out, and I'm upset that I'm not figuring out. Oh, I figured it out. That's the entire character arc of that character. No, I'm not even gonna get into the other ones because they don't change at all throughout the movie. It's just like the same thing right from the start. from when we're introduced to them to when they're liberating Palestine, right? Because that whole scene, they're literally acting the same way that they're acting in the beginning of the movie. So there's no growth. There's nothing that those characters bring to the table that's different from the first scene that we see them on.
Right.
So what the fuck are you gonna do to move forward with this universe where Superman is a bratty child that has a girl that's smarter than him? You have a Green Lantern that's kind of bitter and kind of a piece of shit, so you don't really want to follow him. You have Hawk Girl, who's just a sassy Latina. Why would I want to see her story? And then you have Mr. I forgot his name
Terrific.
already. Terrific, who's just a black nerd who you can be a black nerd, that's fine, but he doesn't give a fuck about anyone either, right? He's very nonchalant, very whatever. So where do you go from here? What's the story here? Lex Luthor is gone, so you got rid of that character, right? By emasculating him and giving him nothing to work with other than I've studied Superman and how he fights. That was like his whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He figured out how Superman moves, and he cloned Superman by going. I just remember this. Oh, he Lex Luthor went to old places where Superman had fought before so that he could get a strand of hair to clone him. Fuck you. Fuck off. And that's the thing, like, okay, so Lex Luthor, it's not a character that is going to be physically imposing because he's going against Superman, right? But at least give me a Lex Luthor that's fucking smart. Don't give me fucking 15-year-old brain Lex Luthor that can be easily defeated because then the villain ends up being the clone. And what's so fun about Superman fighting a clone of himself where he has to kind of outsmart him but doesn't really? That's the fight that's the thing that's driving your movie because your Lex Luthor is just kind of like a young nothing. I
And
it,
we've seen that. We've seen that so many times before. Maybe that's part of the idea is okay, well, this is a go to trope or something. I don't know. I don't know. But it just felt like we have too much. There's just too much going on. Why not remove some of these big monster battles and fill it with character development? I think really a lot of this stuff winds up being forgivable if the characters are people that you can grasp onto and relate to and want to root for. But because of all of the lack of dimensionality that you pointed out with that roster, you don't have that. You never get that. You're just kind of expected to say, this is the same Superman as everybody else's Superman. And it's not. I thought when I was going to watch this movie, there's a specific, maybe we've talked about it one or two times before. There's an Adult Swim series that is out now. I believe it's just called My Adventures with Superman. And I thought we were getting basically a big screen version of that because the character on that show is very soy boy, and it's a very more left wing skewed interpretation of Superman
you
and all
mean
these characters. But this show,
Jack Quaid voice Superman?
yeah, the perfect Superman is really Jack Quaid. I would have probably enjoyed Jack Quaid more if he was Superman in this film because I wouldn't be thinking, damn, David Cornsweat got done dirty here. And he couldn't pull, unfortunately, he just could not overcome that corny shit dialogue.
Yeah.
Sucks. I thought we were going to get that. That show's actually leagues better than this movie, and I don't dislike that show. That's actually like a decent. I got into a Toonami hole recently. That's where I'm currently at. I got out of Snick. I'm now in Toonami and watching so much Yu Yu Hakusho. That has like its own stream on YouTube as well. That Superman show that Adult Swim broadcasts 24/7. It's just him fighting like big robots every single time. And Lois is annoying and a know-it-all, but the show still feels functional. There's a wraparound to it that is just not here, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm almost like, I don't know. I feel like I'm maybe overdoing it with how much I'm bashing the movie, but truly, I walked out of the theater and I was just so sure of my hatred. Maybe that'll change. Maybe, look, maybe there's a situation here. I don't think so, where it's a reverse of the Batman, where I'm like, actually, that was pretty good. Mm, I think by Sunday it'll be interesting if you soften up on it, or if I soften up, or if it just gets worse in memory. I suspect it'll probably be the same or worse.
I just don't think there's many places where I could soften up soften up on this movie
Yeah.
because I again if we're going to just have these movies have no depth and just be very surface level and whatever, then fine, you know, I'll accept that and just not watch, I guess. But whenever something like this tries to make a bigger point, like what the Israel thing that it tried to do here, and again, I'm not a supportive of what's happening there, but I think this was so transparent and so blatant that I was just like, fucking, it's so surface level Twitter politics shit that I was just like, fuck you, like
It literally
try,
feels like an exact argument from Twitter when Lois
yeah,
is like, well, she's trying to deliver, as her job would require, a nuanced counter to whatever it is he's saying, and he's got nothing. It's really just this dumb. I don't want to use the word cartoony because that lets the movie off the hook, right? But it's this dumb, unsophisticated response of people were going to die, so I had to interfere in these government matters and prevent a. Okay, so just Superman has decided no wars are ever acceptable on the planet Earth now, that we can never, things are just going to remain the same. We're not allowed to have any wars. It's not his country. He has no country. He's an immigrant. By the way, that was so
yeah,
forced. That felt like the most, fuck, we don't know how to market this movie. Maybe we can get liberals to show up by saying Mag is mad that he's an
yeah,
immigrant. And the
yeah,
stupid
Lex
idiots like
Luthor is
Critical
ice.
Drinker and fucking, what was the other one on X? Like shit libs
uh,
of whatever. They all took the bait because that's their bread and
yeah,
butter. These dummies, fools.
neurotic and fucking
Mm-hmm.
all of those fucking pathetic
She's
50-year-olds
like,
that
this
are
is
still,
don't engage with that argument. First of all, that's bait. That's bait so they can sell the
yeah.
movie to liberals, and you're gonna step right into the trap, and they did because they get a little pocket change from that too, from all the videos that they can make on that.
Yeah,
Stupid debate.
and it's also so again so surface level that it doesn't even go deep enough where you're like, if you're interested in that whatever's happening there, and you're like very anti-Israel or whatever, this doesn't do it for like didn't work for me. It was just like, okay, so you're just playing a cartoon. This is just a cartoon of a bad guy with like the fucked up hair and like the, retarded because he's very stupid, like the villain guy that we're supposed to believe is the Netanyahu character, right? It's so blatant and so surface level that it's just like, as political commentary, it doesn't even work because because he's not even that evil. Like, he's a cartoon. He's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
He's manipulated by Lex Luthor and he's stupid. So if you're trying to make this huge point about how Israel, whatever they're doing to Palestine, and this is Netanyahu, you're letting him off the hook by having this just cartoony evil guy that just acts like you would expect a cartoony evil guy to act. So then the political commentary that you have here is so retarded and so surface level and so nothing. Then it's just like, what was the point of adding that to my Superman movie? Just because you wanted him to,
Keep it light.
but also that doesn't affect the story at all, right? Because then the Netanyahu character is working with Lex Luthor,
Mm-hmm.
but
For
he never,
50% of Jonapur.
sure, but then it never really feels like that threat is real because we never see anything that happens with that threat. So what we see is a little boy that paints a Superman a sign on a flag, and then he lifts the flag, right? And then the Israeli IDF shows up with tanks and soldiers that shoot nobody, that hurt no one. So then where is the villain? When the villain has an army that won't even shoot the child that's making this whole thing, right? This whole showing of support for super. He wants Superman to come. He keeps saying, Superman, Superman, because he wants to be saved by Superman, right? And then
Yes.
you have the Israeli army that just shows up and just waits until Green Lantern can come and save the child. So then the threat from the Netanyahu Israeli army, whatever the fuck, is not a threat. So what's the point of having that character?
Well, did they even establish why there's a conflict to
No.
begin with?
No, he's taking over the country militarily. That's it. That's
Hmm.
literally it. This he Superman says he was gonna kill people. He was gonna kill innocent people. And he's like, okay, why? Oh, because he's bad. Okay. And then when we see him actually trying to take over the Palestinians, they don't actually shoot anyone. They just kind of drive the tanks into the territory and then nothing happens. So they're just like, okay, so this guy was never a threat. Then
Correct.
why do we spend half of the movie pretending that he's a threat?
Here's the one thing that I kept hoping for in the Jonaporian region when they were feuding with Bavaria. I really
Bavaria.
wanted a plane to land on the dirt and for the Joker to come out dressed like a sheik, just like in the Death in the Family comic book. That would have been so good.
Which Joker?
Oh, jeez. I guess, I guess it has to be Jared Leto, right? Even though he's in hot
Yeah.
water.
I mean, I guess that one or the one from Gotham, right? The ginger.
No, 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 no. That would be the only thing that would make this worse.
Yeah, there's just I'm just I don't know. I'm baffled by DC's decisions when it comes to this because if this is the movie that you're using to restart your universe, there is literally nothing that you can use to restart anything other than maybe another Superman movie where he doesn't grow at all, like in this one, where he doesn't change at all, like in this one, where there's no repercussions to anything that he does, like in this one, where he's only in danger for about 10 minutes when he's being exposed to kryptonite. And besides that, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. And yeah, I don't know where they go from here. I'm sure this will be successful just because it's like a new start, right? And before people realize what they're seeing or are even aware of what they're looking at. But I don't, where do you even go from here? You can't really connect this thing to the Batman, right? Those two feel like completely separate universes,
Well,
completely separate entities. So
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would totally agree with that. They do feel separate in a way. I mean, that was maybe the original point you could make with World's Finest, right? Is Superman is so light that you probably would not normally imagine him dealing with Batman, who's the opposite side. And there's something interesting about that. But just what this movie does and what the Batman does, they're not dissimilar, but the Batman does it so much better. And this is me being complimentary now of Matt Reeves in that film. That movie still felt like a full burger you were getting. This one felt like you ordered a Whopper and really you got the children's patty and the inside was hollowed out and full of mayonnaise. So I'll go back to the Batman probably one more time. I'll never watch this again. Maybe that that's probably not true. I'll probably watch it one more time, and then I'll never touch it again because I'll want to
maybe.
see, does anything change if I watch it on streaming? Is this easier? It did feel like an HBO Max primetime special, more so than a movie.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be watching this again because within half an hour, the theater, I was already looking around. Like I couldn't do my juror number two overreacting, but I did laugh out loud at a couple of things where I was not supposed to laugh, and then just a couple of like, oh fuck you, like
How was the turnout at your theater?
5 people.
Oh, so nobody.
Well, I did go at like 1 p.m. So and it just premiered yesterday. So I'm sure the later showings will be full. At the same time, I don't go to dub movies, and that's what most people see here, just dubbed into Spanish.
Hmm.
So the two theaters that I was looking at to go see, they had one of them had three showings that were subtitled, 1 p.m., 3 p.m., and 6. And then the rest of everything, which was like four or five different theaters, were showing the dub version. No, thank you. And then the other theater that I went to, they only had a 1 9 p.m. subtitled showing, and then they had like five theaters showing just dubbed. But I refuse to watch anything anything dubbed because it just removes everything from the from line delivery to like what the characters mean. Whenever you watch a dub movie, it feels like it's very like mid,
Hmm.
like nothing goes high, nothing goes low, like everything just kind of feels very not just superficial, but also very not authentic to what you're looking at on screen. So I can't, like, I've never been able to do that shit.
Interesting. Okay.
But there was literally like, so it was me that was going with two people, and then there was two couples behind us, and then two guys on the other side. So maybe a total of like 10, 11 people, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my theater was packed. I hate to
Okay.
say it. I've been
Well, you
hoping
did
that
go midnight, right?
I went at 10:20, and every
The
other showtime that day was almost sold out.
Mm.
So people are showing up for Superman, at least in my neck of the woods, but my neck of the woods will show up for any Marvel movie. We don't know if this will be successful, but I did have there was a moment in the theater. There was plenty of families, lots of small children. Some guy brought his wife, two kids who were like 10, 12, and then their baby. And the baby started crying midway through the movie. And some grown man shouts out, "Take the baby out of the theater." And then some unrelated black family sitting ahead of me threatened that man. And then the woman was like deriding him, like, all these 40-year-old virgins watching DC. And that was the best moment of my night when I was watching Superman. And that guy shut up. I was pretty sure he was afraid to leave the theater after that.
Of
So,
course.
which,
Well,
listen, we're all annoyed by babies crying, but you're going to yell at a dude bringing his full family to the Superman movie, which is, in theory, supposed to be for children, and you're getting upset. Come on.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've I've gotten in shouting arguments before from people talking in theaters, so I'm not above
Oh, no,
that.
I think that that's absolutely called for. In this
Yeah.
situation, we're watching a dumbass, like the stupidest, childish, in like not even childish, because again, the people who will say, "Well, it's supposed to be for kids," it's unsophisticated, right? And I'll agree, it's supposed to be for children, even though we all know it's actually for James Gunn and other 50-year-old men who want that saccharine false sincerity.
I wish it was for them. I think if this movie was made for like older people, you might get something out of it. I just don't think this movie knows who the audience is. I think James Gunn thinks that everyone is kind of like him, where he's just like a 60-year-old lesbian that has this lefty sensibilities. But I like, what could he? I'm almost 40. This shit fucking had nothing for me. And I was sitting next to a 12-year-old kid, and this movie had nothing for him either, other than the kaiju, where he was kind of like, "Oh, what is that? What is that little thing that's jumping around like breathing fire?" And then it gets big, right? And then, but that's it. Like his interest died as soon as the kaiju monster ended.
Hmm.
So then I don't know, like, who's this movie for? Is it for people that are still in like suspended animation where it's like, well, I'm still I'm still into superhero movies. I'm still the superhero guy, even
I
though
think
I'm in
it.
my
There's
30s
a
now. And
strain of 35 to 50-year-old man, maybe 50's pushing it. Really, 35 to 45-year-old man that thinks he has an understanding of who these characters are and would probably cite something like Batman the animated series as the definitive incarnation of that character, and maybe for a DC adaptation. And maybe they collect their action figures. Maybe they got like a shelf of toys behind them when they're recording their episodes of their YouTube show that's watched by 30 people. That type of individual is who is elated with this Superman movie, because the sensibilities are undeveloped but still adult. It is not enough, clearly, from your own direct experience to appeal to a young boy. It is designed for shutting up the 35-year-old men who don't like dreariness in their movies, who want something that you can turn your brain off, or rather, not necessarily want that, but they will defend that, which I've seen that plenty, is people have a hard time praising this movie without citing the movies that were made immediately previous of this.
Well, yeah, what the narrative that I'm seeing is like, well, at least this is better than Zack Snyder's Superman, right?
Yes.
And it's like if that's really what you're using as a measuring stick when you don't like that one, then that means that they can literally throw anything in front of your face and you're just gonna clap like a retarded seal just because it's not Zack Snyder, and that
Yeah,
seems to
yeah.
be what happened here, you know?
Which sucks, obviously, as a Zack Snyder fan, is that is the how they are garnering this being a creative success, when again, to me, it's important to not talk about those films when discussing this for this first, because again, there will be plenty of time to do that, because this alone has plenty to stand on its own two legs and be perceived as a failure. So, one of the worst movies I've seen in the theater this year, unquestionably. Was there any other aspect of the movie we didn't get to? Then again, maybe we should save some for when we record with our pals, Simi and Jimmy, Eggy, and Erich, who apparently loves this film.
Well, one of the things that I had an issue figuring out if it was for children or for adults was the fact that they used the news and like the propaganda as like whatever the news says is what's going on and everyone believes it. And that
Immediately
to me
believes it.
immediately, and Superman is literally just saved you guys from this gigantic monster, and then because the news said he's bad, then everyone just turns on him. And that to me felt very 1960s cartoon that has nothing to do with this movie at all, because everyone's just so quickly convinced by just the news of, well, I guess he's bad, so fuck Superman and fuck him, and everyone's like outside of those windows or whatever, giving him shit. And then at the end of the movie, the same thing happens with Lex Luthor, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh well, fuck Lex now. He's the bad guy now because the news told us." And I understand that if maybe he was trying to do a point with like propaganda and like how, the media is evil or whatever the fuck. But again, just like every concept in this movie, it's so surface level that it never feels like it has any weight to it. So then when this is the main reason why everyone turns on him, it feels unearned, it feels shallow, and it feels like it doesn't make sense in the fucking universe that you're setting up where everyone fucking loves him. Everyone's rooting for him, everyone's helping him with this monster, and then all of a sudden everyone just switched just because the TV told them. There's a weird disconnection with concepts that he f- feels like he's trying to bring and cannot stick with any of them. And that's the biggest issue that I have with Marvel movies and with James Gunn movies, because then the movie just feels like nothing. There's no stakes. There's nothing that anyone is in danger of. So then it's just 2 hours of nothingness. By the end of the movie, no one grew, no one changed, nothing happened that changed anyone's lives other than, well, the bad guy now is in jail and the good guy is alive, And this the one change we have is that, and it's just not enough for me to like give a shit, you know? If again, unearned, and it just feels like, well, we're just gonna throw this in here. I'm gonna throw this bunch of elements in here, but I'm not gonna take any time to work on any of them so that they mean anything. And instead, it's all just gonna be meaningless. And by the end of the movie, Superman is gonna fly into the sun. And isn't that what you all want? And just sat here for 2 hours watching shit that didn't matter at all. So then it's just,
Yep.
yeah,
You know, to what you were saying earlier about the media and the perception and how people turn on Superman and Lex on a dime. Clearly, James Gunn has a residual PTSD he's trying to deal with this movie from being fired by Disney, fired, or at least being ridiculed and frequently accused of being a sexual offender, a pervert.
yeah. That,
Great place, the Superman movie, to deal with that.
that's the guy you give the Superman movie to.
And
Matt
listen, I'm
Roswell.
not saying you can't deal with subjects like that in a Superman movie, but like you have to nail it. You have to be able to do it well, and it's not done well. It feels stupid. It feels really dumb. So didn't like this movie. Hans also did not. I was so relieved to see your 1 star review after seeing so many friends of ours who are going to be talking to give this movie
Yeah.
3 stars. And we got to have these people come to their
Oh,
senses. We're going to have to talk some logic into them because this is not a 3 star movie. Honestly, my feeling walking out of the theater was like, if there's even like remote positivity, I have to question your taste. Like how? How do you see anything good in this movie? I
where's the
can't. I can't. It's maybe I look.
where do you get hope? I don't understand the hope. Where's the hope from this? Where's hope from the Superman? What did he do that you're like, yeah, I this is the character that makes me feel like a good person because I'm good. Oh, this is the character that makes me feel like what I'm doing is right because he's a rightfulness and righteous. None of that. You don't get any of that with Superman. So what are you getting hope from this movie other than, well, there's gonna be more movies like this? Is that the thing that's giving you hope? Is that the hopefulness? Because again, Zack Snyder Superman. Okay, let's dready, depressing. Okay, there's nothing to look forward to from that Superman because he's such a dark, depressing, whatever drag character that I hate. Blah blah blah. What about this Superman makes you want to see him again? What did he do other than he rescued a squirrel, which is an argument that I've seen online already, makes you feel like, oh, you know what? This is the hopeful character, other than that uh, trick that they try pulling on you at the end of the movie where the robots are like, oh yeah, we can show you the footage of your parents, and instead of looking at Jor-El and his mom, he's actually looking at the Kents. Oh, isn't that heartwarming? Oh, isn't he sweet? That's the American values that everyone wants. He likes his mom and pa from Kansas. And it's just like, fuck you. Like, it's so transparent what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And in the last minute of the movie, I'm supposed to care for him and this relationship that throughout the movie he's ignoring. Throughout the movie, they're just these rednecks that nobody gives a fuck about. And then all of a sudden, it's like, no, no, no. Forget about the 2 hours. Just enjoy these 30 seconds where he's looking at screens where he's a child and he's enjoying with his parents.
Which,
I
by the
don't get it.
way, everything that we get of Clark Kent with the family in Smallville, his bedroom, his home, it all I just keep coming back to two terms, which is thin and one note. It's exactly what it is. There's no sense of emotional depth when he's talking to his father, and it's supposed to be an emotional moment where he's giving him the Kevin Costner
Yeah.
delivery of, it's not up to your parents to choose who you are. It's up to you. We're just supposed to give you the tools. And
Yeah.
it's like, could we get a better actor? No offense to this guy. Could we just like Eric Roberts could have crushed this. He would have fucking eaten for weeks off of just one paycheck from this movie. It could have been great. Um,
Well, no, but you needed him to look like mom and pa from Kansas that talk like they're from Alabama, right? So he had to be fat and he had to be pathetic and he had to be a pushover that nobody cares about until he decides to sit next to Superman and say, "Hey, I'm proud of you. You know, I'm proud of you." And then all of a sudden, then we care about him.
here's actually I think I identified the problem here. James Gunn is so caught up in conveying niceness and superficial niceness with these characters, and he does not associate goodness with strength. I think this is the point here and why this character feels like an artificial Superman, why he feels so especially unearned, bratty, and annoying. People pointed out Superman gets his ass beat all over the movie. But more than that, there's nothing in him as a character that gives you the sense that he has control of himself, of his emotions, of his power. He doesn't try to rein it in at any point. There's no coalescing between strength and goodness here. And maybe the Pa Kent character is a clear example outside of Superman that shows this, because I would say even as far back as the 78 Superman, you have a version of this hardworking man who takes in Superman with his wife. They raise him well, and then in some incarnations he dies while Superman is still a young man. On Smallville, you get the sense of that he's like a hardworking, strong man. Not this one. No offense to this actor, that's not who his character is.
No, they're just the pathetic rednecks, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're the pathetic rednecks that he ignores because he's in a big city with his big job as a journalist. And then whenever he interacts with them, they're very sweet. They love him, but they just feel like a nuisance to him. They feel like they're bothering him. They feel like two rednecks from my past life that I don't give a fuck about right now. So I'm just gonna kind of listen to them on the phone, but not really until we need to have the scene where he has to heal. So where is he gonna go heal? Well, he's gonna go to Kansas with mom and pa, right? And that's the only part where we're supposed to pretend that, well, all of a sudden he cares about them anymore. Even though he was just ignoring them over the phone 10, 20 minutes ago. It was a weird jarring decision, I think, to me when they first showed on screen, because they feel like Alabama redneck ignorant people that there are used in this type of movie to just present as like a very easily dismissed character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's kind of how they're presented at the beginning until they all of a sudden matter, right?
Yeah.
But then again, we go back to the same thing of like, there's nothing that has depth or stakes or three dimensions at all. They're just sweet redneck parents that took care of him, right? So their entire thing or the entire interaction with them is, well, the mom wants to talk to him. Dad, not really that much, but he still cares, right? So when they're having that interaction on the phone where Superman seems annoyed with them, Pop is not really talking that much, but he's asking how he's doing because he still cares, right? So that's as deep as those characters go. But again, we're treating them like whatever, like just two rednecks. I live in the big city, whatever the fuck. Oh, you're calling me, blah blah blah, until we need to have that, that moment where Pop says, I'm proud of you. Why? Because you're my kid and I'm proud of you. There's not even any depth behind those words. So like, you couldn't even have the sweet, nice moment other than, hey, move, because I want to sit here next to you. And you know what? I'm very proud of you because you're Superman. And then Superman puts his arm around him And that's as deep as the emotions
Mhm.
go in this movie. And that's what I'm supposed to be caring for, the mom and pop that I only care about when I'm hurt because I need to hide somewhere. And it's again surface level, no depth, no nothing, no warmth. Did I feel anything from those parents? No, because he
No,
didn't. He didn't. He's ignoring them on the phone, right? He's being annoying with them. So why would the fuck would I care about them? That's just the biggest issue that I have with this movie. Nothing matters. A very marvelized way of making superhero movies, which is, you know what? He's never gonna be in real peril because you don't want your superhero to die. No one's in danger ever at any point, and if they are, oh, they're just gonna come out of the rubble and they're alive. They're not gonna die. And it's
it's just a failure on every level. And if people show up to the theater and we wind up getting 10 more years of these movies, I will not be a participant. I will not sign on to watch even the Batman movies. It does not interest me. There's nothing here that would warrant a night out at the theater again for $50, $60. That's just not going to happen. So personally, I'm rooting against this movie. I hope it does wind up being a flop. I just don't want to see any more of these. I think we're good on this one. The fact that he can go off and do Peacemaker, stick to that. Peacemaker season 2, I'm sure it'll be enjoyable for that audience. Season 1 wasn't bad, but that's the type of character. By the way, we didn't even mention John Cena's cameo
yeah,
on the
the
Michael
cameo,
Ian Black nighttime show.
yeah,
Uh, okay, good stuff. Can't wait for Nathan Fillion's Green Lantern show with Kyle Chandler.
yeah, yeah. Well, he's just gonna be playing the snappy guy
Can we
that
just get him a better wig? It's not that difficult. It's really not that difficult. You could have gotten a real human. It looks like a straw wig you would get from a Halloween
Simple Jack.
store.
He's got the Simple Jack hair, and it really takes away from your powerful character when your zero power female character makes fun of your powerful character's haircut. Like that's not good. You, the point where she's just making fun of his haircut, it just tells me that you're aware of how goofy and retarded his haircut looks, but you refuse to change it so that you can have that joke where we're making fun of his hair in the movie. And that just feels so. How do you. So the whole point of this character is just to have that joke where we make fun of his hair, and that's why he has that hair, so she can have that line over him when he doesn't want to go for Superman.
Yeah,
I,
yeah, it sucks. We'll get into it more. Let's save some juice.
yeah,
And we're really running out here. We're literally parsing through because it's so
I
fresh.
just I just keep remembering things that I'm just annoyed annoyed by. But we have two more shows coming from this, so I'm sure. But,
Yeah, we can.
especially
Maybe E-Rich will enlighten us as to why this is a good movie and we're wrong.
yeah,
I
I'm
hope
sure
so. I really hope so.
uh,
I hope to be
he's
persuaded. I won't be, but I really hope to be.
he's gonna come up with the one good argument for the first time, and
For the
that's a
first time, I mean, what is
podcast.
his history? I can't recall. I can't recall what else he's argued. I think he
I think
thought
we were on
McLaughlin was good.
weren't we on one episode with him? I think once, and fuck, I wish I remember what it was. I don't remember what he liked. But yeah, I'm 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 looking forward to counter arguing all the beneficial shit that people has to say about this because I just
Well, I went to his
yeah.
letterbox because I do follow. I believe this is E-Rich. He gave the 78 Superman 3.5 stars. This one gets 4 stars. So that's what we're
Mm,
walking into on Sunday night.
yeah. Okay. Well, maybe I'll watch that Cam just to have more ammo that I didn't pick up uh the movie. But yeah, it just feels like it's just a nothing movie that you're starting a new universe with a movie that doesn't seem like even the director gave that much
I
of
think
a
he
fuck
got
about.
himself in a real pickle. And from my understanding, they went through countless reshoots on this thing. They were trying to figure it out in post. They removed a lot of humor. So who knows what that would have looked like if we got the release the gun cut, I guess. I don't know. There's a version of this movie that didn't test well that Warner Brothers was more concerned about. So think about that. This is maybe the best version of that. On the contrary, though, so I decided to give a second glance to some of the DC movies that I deliberately abstained from because this just left such a bad taste in my mouth. And I got home and I put on Black Adam, The Rock's
Mm.
Black Adam, which I've never seen before. I know that Henry Cavill pops up for like a second as
At the end,
Superman,
yeah.
and I was like, "Well, how bad can this be, really? If this is one of the worst, the Superman movie is one of the worst. How bad can this be?" And the answer I've come to is all those DC movies that struck out. Because honestly, when I was leaving the theater, I was like, "Yeah, Wonder Woman '84 wasn't that bad. It was not that bad.
Ooh.
It was
Oh
not that bad.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was. Maybe there was something there." So I put on
Did
Black
you?
Adam, and Black Adam. The conclusion I drew here was this is just as bad, just bad in a different way. It's not comparably bad. This is not maybe equal. It's close though, but it's just bad in a very different way, in a traditional bad superhero movie way, like Steel, the movie Steel. I was as
Yeah.
soon as I got through, yeah, Wonder Woman '84 is like good now. It's a good movie now. Is Steel a good movie now? No, it's not a good movie,
Uh,
but I think it's better than Superman.
do you rewatch?
No, I did not. I honestly, Black
Okay.
Adam quenched my thirst there. I was like, I'm not doing any more of these. I'm good on this. I don't
Cause
think I've
that
missed anything else. Oh, Blue Beetle.
cause
I did not see
oh
Blue Beetle. I'll never
wow.
see it.
Yeah. That one feels like an HBO that I mean should have been
Mm-hmm.
probably an HBO show. Uh the Mexican representation there. Yeah, I think I just think this genre is dead. I just think this is done. And I'm kind of curious as to what the new blockbuster is going to be because it can't be superheroes still, right? It can't still be this
We'll
shit
find out
every
soon.
year.
The overnight preview seemed to look good for Superman. That's concerning. Because I like these characters. I like DC. Look at what I got just the other day. I went to the comic book shop and I decided to pick up Preacher, which I've never looked into before, but the art has always appealed to me. And they had
Right.
all these $1 issues. And I also got myself, since they're going back to since the comic book industry doesn't know what to do anymore, they're like, we'll just do another long Halloween. I was like, yeah, all right, sure. I like the art there too. Why not? So it's all Preacher, really cool art from Steve Dillon, is it? And Garth Ennis
Yeah.
wrote the comic. We'll see. We'll see if that does anything for me. But I mean, honestly, I was in a Superman mood when I showed up, and it didn't remove my Superman mood. It just didn't do anything for me, and I'm grateful for that since we have like 7 Superman shows lined up this week. It is Super
Uh,
Week at the Movies Podcast, and you can get all these episodes at patreon.com/LowRes, which helps us push out our Stained Haynes episodes and everything else we recorded like 3 months ago, even longer. Like that shit, none of that's coming out until like October now after Super Week.
yeah. I I mean after this I think every other Superman movie that I watch will probably be an improvement.
I'm excited to
So
watch
it's
Superman 4, but we don't have a guest for Superman 3 and 4. And we don't have a show for Superman 3 and 4 until we have a guest.
okay. Well, let's keep it that. Let's keep it that way for now.
So here's what we
No,
got.
actually, yeah.
I was going to say, we got the next one is going to be more Superman 2025. We're going to do a debate.
Oh, yeah.
Then it's going to be Superman 2025 and Superman Returns, the Bryan Singer movie from 2006. It's been a while since I watched that, at least like a year or two. Actually, I might have watched it right before we shot Disorderly, because that's when I did a Superman revisit. Then we've got Man of Steel. We're going to be discussing with Nick Oldershaw and Robbie Goodwin. And then we're going to be talking about both cuts of Superman 2 with J. Curtis Miller. Superman 2 and Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. So that is one, two, three, four, like five Superman movies. And then we get like we're supposed to do a show for Better Man.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to talk about Better Man.
I never wanted to
This
talk
is
about
this is why
Better
I
Man.
stopped letting guests pick the movies. Is this is what we selected? I'm
Yeah.
trying to pivot and be like, we're doing a super week. How about you watch the Smallville pilot? Because that was released as a movie in Canada. Easy,
Better than.
easy 90 minutes.
Yeah, if I want to see shitty CGI, I don't think I want to do monkey dancing
We got enough monkeys
musical.
in this Superman movie.
Yeah, and they tweet better than me. They all tweet better than all of us. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, we're gonna close out on that note. It is getting late. Hans is lethargic from all the popcorn he's eaten, the nachos, the Costa Rican nachos. Do they at least have more Hispanic flair at the Costa Rican theater?
I have diabetes. I don't eat
Oh,
nachos.
right. What I forgot. They don't have sugar-free nacho cheese yet.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I
What?
actually went to the doctor today. He said that I was doing amazing. So
Oh,
I'm
good.
as healthy as I can be having diabetes. I just wanted to know before I go to the States and pig out. So so I wanted to make sure that I'm fine before I go up there, you know.
Yeah, I think we're gonna hit some bars. We're gonna hit some restaurants. We're gonna have our like with the pressure off, and we're only shooting some days, not every day.
Yeah.
That'll be nice. That's going to be a fun time. So, if you want to see Mass State Lottery and come see Hans and I in New York, August 27th, go to mslfilm.com. We still have tickets available for that screening. We're also showing the movie in Los Angeles. We will not be there in person, but there will be a pre recorded message, and maybe, just maybe, the Los Angeles audience will get something that the New York, Boston, and Athens audiences will not get. I'll keep it at that. Athens, Georgia, that is going to be our domestic premiere. August 16th, we're going to be playing at Cine in Athens, 2:30 p.m. showtime. Check that out. And check out all the other films in the festival there. Looks like it's actually a very solid lineup of independent films. I want to go. They're expecting me to go. They better if I go, I better get an award. I'll say that. I'm not paying my own way in my hotel room unless I'm walking away with a trophy. You better come up with an award to give me if I show up. Before we actually close, should we pull up the AI? Should we pull up the AI Superman that came about in the Discord?
Oh.
We'll link the Discord here in the description if you want to join the conversation that Hans is going to be pulling up. They decided to make some AI Superman, Lex Luthor, Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, and then there's a comic book which features me as Superman jumping races. Cute stuff.
I don't have access to that one because I need to go to the Discord, and this is not the computer where I have access to that, but I can pull.
That's because Hans is in all these pornography discords, probably with James Gunn.
It's
He
not
can't
just
screen share
pornography.
that. All right, here we go. We got something though. What is this?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate this. By the way, this sucks. This is bad. There's
I
me
mean,
as
it's really
Superman
good.
though. I look like the
It's really
George
good.
Reeves chubby, out of shape Superman. That's
Yeah,
nice.
that's a
It look.
big
Hey, this looks as good as
beer
the real thing.
beer belly Superman. Yeah, I mean your mustache looks pretty good.
Yeah,
Like
no,
that
this
is
this
really
looks
good.
better than Henry Cavill and the Joss Whedon Justice League. Honestly,
Yeah. Oh yeah, the lip.
it's pretty good.
Nice.
This, yeah,
Yeah.
you as Lex is seamless though. You as Lex is really maybe
I
Hans
don't
could
know.
play Lex.
I don't know about that tooth though. What are those
You
teeth
have one
there?
tooth in the front of your face,
Yeah.
like Tom Cruise. Everybody knows that.
And then you have
Yeah, this one did
cranium.
not work as well. His face is. Why are his features so big? They don't
Because
fit on the face.
they don't fit the tiny mask. His nose and lips are too big.
No, it looks like an anime edit or something with the hair.
Yeah. And
Is
then you
good.
got the sexy
And then of course Jerry,
the
which they've
yeah,
edited in the Zin pouch
mental. Yep.
pack there. Good. I don't even think that's AI. I think that's just somebody put Jerry's face in Photoshop on Lois
Yeah, just Photoshop my forehead on him.
Lane.
Yeah.
The Discord also had Jake Hanrahan as Guy Gardner, which was like
Oh
pretty
yeah.
seamless. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
So there you
I
go.
gotta.
The future of Headshot LLC, correctly stating when Superman becomes public domain. That's
Which you
the film
already
you're in for.
announced, right? You already announced that we're gonna be doing,
I didn't
so.
say Superman. Although
Oh, right.
that's a hey, that's the one upside here. If this James Gunn Superman does take off, it is a big box office success. Superman's public domain in 9 years. So guess
Hmm.
what? You're gonna get Superman Blood and Honey.
Yeah.
Superman meets Pooh. Superman meets Tigger. Who's the new one?
Yeah.
Piglet.
They're gonna they're gonna make one where the booty shorts are a big factor of it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, it's a big choice for him
Yes,
on
it's gonna be
LGBT
great.
Superman.
I can't wait for those Superman movies to come
Hell
out, and
yeah.
then Batman's the year after. And you just wait until I'll
Yeah, the
be.
pink suit Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
I'll
familiar with a pink Superman
no.
from the 70s?
I
There
know
was a
there's a
super.
pink
I mean,
Batman
Superman.
costume.
Batman is
Oh
Batman,
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
Superman. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what you should have looking forward to. Robert Pattinson playing Pink Batman.
I'll be surprised if they even get to shooting the Batman too. I know they presented the script. I don't know. I think it's difficult to believe that James Gunn, if this movie's a success, I don't think we're getting the Batman too because he's got his
No,
own version ready to go.
yeah, you're getting Hawk Girl, and you're getting Simple Jack Green Lantern. That's what you're getting. Green Lantern Course, where he's the snappy guy, and then you got more snappy fellas, because that's all you get
Who
of
do you
these
think,
movies.
if this is successful, who do you think he's going to pick for Batman?
Oh fuck. Uh, Austin Butler.
Don't
Who's
don't
hot?
don't even say that because I would
Who's
like that.
who's who's hot? Who's like a hot actor right now? Uh, no one.
Glenn
Fuck.
Powell. He can't afford Glenn
Still?
Powell.
Still?
Yeah.
Okay. Adam Driver.
No, Adam Driver wouldn't do a James Gunn movie.
You want to do Batman?
I don't think so.
I mean, he did Star Wars.
You
I
can
mean, he's
recognize
above
him by
it.
his moles pointing out of the bat suit.
Mm. And the weirdly way too long mask to cover his whole face. Jack Black Batman, I think would be good.
He could be Batmite. That
Yeah.
probably is in the cards at this rate. If you got crypto, we're
Oh,
getting Jack
oh.
Blackmite.
Just tiny Jack Black floating around.
Yep.
Or Mr. Blinksbing.
Mr.
What is his name?
Mixius
Flick
Pitlick.
Six.
Honestly, he would have been Nicholas Holt as Mixius Pitlick fixes the movie. A lot of the
Better
movie.
than, yeah,
The
better than,
interdimensional prison from Mr. Mixius Pitlick.
yeah.
You just have to say
Is
his
that
name backwards.
is that how you say the name?
Mixius
Mis
Pitlick.
Okay. Well, as a Latin American person, I think I would have been fucked and never, never gotten to say him. That's how you get rid of him, right? You get him to say his name.
Backwards, I think.
Oh, oh, yeah, I would have been
You
fucked.
gotta you gotta trick him. Yes. Howie Mandel played that character on Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman.
Was he just a voice?
No, he was like a full-bodied Mr. Mixius Pitlick.
There's a tiny Howie Mandel.
No, he was full-bodied. He was no. It should have been tiny. It would have been cool because he played Gizmo the Gremlin and all these other characters, right? But no, they did a full body. I'm pretty sure he had like long curly black hair. He looked like a magician.
Oh, okay.
You got
So
a
it's
picture you
early
can pull
Howie
up?
Mandel. No. Well, I wish I could spell Mr. whatever the.
Mixius Pitlick. That's
Oh, I got it, I
you
think.
just type in Howie Mandel, Lois and Clark.
Oh,
They
yeah, that doesn't look at all like the character.
Here we go. We're taking a look on the video
So,
on
so this is what the.
patreon.com/LowRes. What? Hold on a second. No, that's
Well,
not
that's
Howie
what it's
Mandel.
supposed to. No, that's what it's supposed to look like. That's the
Yes.
original character, right? But then you just gave him this.
Yeah, he looks like Zod or like really
Yeah,
gay Bob Fosse Zod.
yeah, I prefer this.
What is this, Superboy?
I don't know.
Yeah. Joaquin Phoenix was Superboy.
Is that Joaquin Phoenix?
That doesn't look like Joaquin Phoenix.
He doesn't.
Did he? But I think Joaquin Phoenix took over. I think there were like two or three different Superboys that they had as Superboy for the series. Or maybe there was one episode of something where,
What the fuck? What the fuck? That's the Joaquin Superboy?
yeah, can
So
we
he
play
was an
this?
actual boy?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Uh
Superboy has to be a boy. He's Superboy.
Let me see if this isn't just
Leaf. Oh, he was still
Leaf.
Leaf. Leaf Phoenix. 1989. He gets thrown into a garbage can full of cardboard. How convenient. And then he hops out as
That's
Superboy.
hilarious. There,
Superman might be more successful on TV than he has been in film. Not
well, it's
creatively, but
goof. Oh wow, he's melting them. Yeah, because he's goofy, right? Because he's wholesome.
it can be very procedural in a way that works for television. I don't think there's been a decade where we haven't had a Superman TV show since the 70s movies came out.
What do you have now? The Lewis and Clark one?
So, okay, in the 1980s, we had this. We had Superboy. And if you want to count the cartoons, you can, I mean, that'll just support the case even more. But let's say just live action, right? You had Superboy in the 80s. In the 90s, you had Lois and Clark. In the aughts, you had Smallville. In the tens, you also had Smallville. And then there's Superman and Lois. But
That's
they just
fucking
ended
good.
that recently because they don't want people, they don't like the idea of multiple Supermen on HBO Max.
And they're all better than James Gunn's Superman.
I probably,
Is what you're
honestly, I was
saying.
thinking about watching Superman and Lois because this just didn't do it for me. I was like, I don't know, it's unsatisfied, my Superman fix. And I've seen all the rest. I haven't watched Superman and Lois. Maybe it's good.
Even the 50s one? Have you seen the George Reeve? No,
Yeah,
George
yeah,
what
yeah.
is it?
Yeah, no, you're right. George Reeve was Superman in the 1950s. There was that TV show. And maybe that helped lay the foundation for why that works as a TV character.
Mm,
And he was also the first big screen Superman for Superman and the Mole Men, which
man.
was a feature length film at 58 minutes that was released in theaters. And it's him fighting basically adults with progeria, trying to burn down a barn. And those are the Mole Men. They're
When you could
hideous.
when you could get away with just having ugly people be the monster.
It's literally disabled munchkin people, but not just normal little people. It's like people with some sort of health problem dressed up with
Chicken
eggheads and they're trying to burn a barn and Superman's like blasting them to death with his laser vision.
this Chicken Little disease and he's just nice. Okay.
So that's great. That's a great Superman movie. It's a classic. I got it on the shelf, the VHS shelf over here. Stellar movie. All right. I think we've definitely done our due diligence here for this episode. That has been movies for this week. Thank you for listening.